something that I've been gaining an increasing awareness of. And I don't know if it was any particular thing that led to it, but it's just been a gradual um, realization, I guess. And that is, well, God, I feel so dumb saying stuff like this publicly, but like the emotional aspect of so many parts of life, and specifically what I'm thinking of is the emotional skill that is on display with either um, actors or musicians or really any great art, any great artist. And take, for example, playing the piano. Now, there's an incredible amount of, physical, mental skill going on there when you watch somebody play the piano really well, and it's mind-boggling how they can do it, and that's an amazing thing, and I can be in awe of that skill. But there's another part of it that I'm increasingly aware of, and that is the emotional control and access that a really good musician has. Or I think of musicians and actors a lot in this way. Um, okay, so I was watching a video recently. It just popped up on my feed, and it was a story about a musician who played a concert, a solo piano concert, in Europe, and this concert. Now, musicians, I'm sure, know this story. This was my first time hearing it. This concert was destined for disaster, basically. Yeah, the fan of my light just turned on. Sorry, that was very distracting. This concert was not gonna go well, and I'm gonna butcher the story here, but I will put a link for this video that I watched in the description, and so you can watch a better telling of the story. But basically, the musician was showing up, and the piano that he was going to use was just not appropriate. It was out of tune, and it was not functioning correctly. It had mechanical issues, and they weren't sure if they were going to get it working in time for the concert. And so he was basically on the verge of backing out of doing the concert, and it was looking like it was going to be a disaster. There were other factors, but the short version is that the piano was messed up. The musician, Keith Jarrett, was going to back out, and basically he was convinced to go ahead with the concert, even though the piano itself was, it wasn't a normal experience playing this piano. Like, you had to play with and around the eccentricities of this particular piano, which is crazy to think of, going into a big live concert with a piano that you're not familiar with and that is unique in that way. And basically, he's such a fantastic musician that he was able to work with it and went ahead with the concert and used the piano, used its unique qualities to his advantage. And this concert was an improvised jazz performance. So everything he was doing was improvised on the fly. And he worked with that piano and made the piano part of the unique performance. He took all of the quirks of it and used them to his advantage. And he put on a beautiful performance that was highly emotional. And I listen to the concert, and I get to feel it. I feel his emotional display. I get to take part in that experience with him. And well, I'm in awe of the emotional power and skill and access that someone like that has. Because I appreciate a little bit, not like I do it myself, but I can appreciate it as an audience member, that the access to his emotions is just at the highest level, and that if he didn't have access to those emotional powers, he would not be as good of a musician, even if he still had all of those physical, mental skills, moving the fingers where they need to go at the right time. And I think that's really what makes a great artist great, is that in addition to all of those technical skills, they've got a broadband access to their own emotions. And I've been working lately on my own emotional access and how I can reconnect with it and start to see ways that I've been, holding back emotions, and starting to ask questions like, why am I doing that? Where does that come from? And how can I safely express my emotions? How can I do so in a way that doesn't push people away, and instead actually makes me a better, more complete person that people are either attracted to or respect, or can respond to genuinely and feel safe responding to you genuinely? Because if you're always putting on a kind of a false front as far as your emotions go, then I think other people are going to respond in kind. And so I want to be the kind of person that can put forward an authentic, emotional version of myself. I'm not really sure how to finish that sentence, but I want to be genuine in my communication. And that extends to, what I say and how I say it, and even what my face does, because your face and its movement is so closely tied to emotion. And I want to be more genuine in that expression and maybe hold back less. Anyway, I'm kind of going off on the side a little bit there, but I really appreciate the emotional skill that musicians and actors and other artists have, and that ability to channel it and produce wonderful works of art with it. Because without it, I don't know, like what even exists without the emotion. And so that's definitely a part of my journey. I'm sorry, I don't know what other word to use there, but it's a part of my journey is to get in better touch with my emotions and ask more questions about them, and be better about feeling them and expressing them, and just getting comfortable with who I really am, because that's kind of what it's all about, is being natural and genuine, and not holding myself back, and not playing a role that I think other people want me to play. And I don't think I'm very good at that yet. Like that's a difficult thing for me to do. And so I've been doing, various things working on that. And the most important of those, though, is that I'm putting in some intentional thought on the topic. And that's really like, if I'm not doing that, then I'm not doing anything. the specifics of the situation or of the strategies or whatever don't matter. The important thing is that I have tuned my attention to it, and I'm working on it. And it's a fun process, but it's also weird. It's scary. It's you're finding out things about yourself, or about how we all experience life, and what it means to be human, or what it means to have an ego, and all of those things. So I highly recommend that the video. I'll link the video in the description that tells the story about that concert in Cologne, and it's so cool. And you can also then I'll link the actual recording of that concert, so you can listen through it if you're interested. I just found it so fun and moving and beautiful to listen to, and my God, the ability of someone to do that, improvised, it just comes out of them. It's amazing. And wow, what I want to know what that feels like for the person making that music in the moment. What does that feel like? And I mean, I don't think you could describe it. I don't think it's possible to understand what it feels like without doing it yourself. And then the question is, well, my God, how many years of practice would it take to be able to have a realistic idea of what that feels like? But so impressive and so cool. Okay, I wanted just to talk about that. Thinking about feelings. Okay, that's it. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.